All right, Eric, find percent change. Again, I'm going to show you my way. I'm just going to make a table and obey the table pretty much with all these. So you can, again, do how they show you how to do it, but I think my way is way better. Love you, buddy. So here you go. So we're going to do these 6 problems here. Skill check number 1 on page 304. All right. So make a table, obey the table. You're going to increase 20 by 30%. So original, and then you got change, and then new. And you're increasing, so I'm going to add. So the original is always 100%. And then you just and then you're increasing at 30%. So once you set it up, you can just think proportionally. Remember, horizontally or vertically is thinking proportionally. How do I get from here to here? I just divide by 5. So I'm divided by 5, that's 6, which is 30%. 10% of 20 is 2, so 30% would be 6. I add, so the new would be, and that's 130% of this. Anyways. They wanted you to calculate the new amount. The new amount is 26. Number 2, you're starting with 40 and you're decreasing it 15%. So since I'm decreasing, I'm subtracting. Remember, the original is always 100%. So I'm going to do this 15% in my head. I know 10% of 40, here, I'll show you right here. 10% of 40 is 4, so 5% is 2, so 15% is 6. And if you can't, you just make a proportion and do it. Anyways, you're subtracting 6 and you get 34. And that's 85% of the original. And if that didn't make sense, you could just make your circle and obey your circle. It's decrease over original. You're decreasing at 6 out of 40, and I don't know what the percent is out of 100, and just crisscross. That's 40x equals 600, and you divide both sides by 40. And 600 divided by 40 is 60 divided by 4, which is 30 divided by 2, which is 15. Divide by 4 is just cut it in half, divide by 2 twice. Anyways, number 3, your original is 10 and your new amount is 13. So remember, this is always 100%. So you increased it by 3. Well, this is pretty friendly. Isn't this just times 10? So times 10, isn't that a 30% increase? This would be 130% of the original. Find the percent change. This is a 30% increase. So anyways, number 4, you're starting with 25 and your new amount is going to be 6. So your change is a decrease. Subtract, you decreased it by 19, right? Well, put 100% here. How'd you get from here to here? That's times 4. So times 4. If you want to do this times 4, that's 24%. It's 24% new, so this must be 76% was your decrease. And 19 times 4 is 76. I think that's kind of slick. Number 5, your original was 40 and your new is 42, so your change is an increase. So you're adding, it increased 2 to 100% here. Looks like I divided by 20 to get there, so I'm going to divide by 20, that would be 5. That's a 5% increase. And this would be 105% of the original. If you multiply that by 0.105, you'd get this. Number 6, the original was 50 and the new is 46, so your change is a decrease. So you're subtracting, looks like you subtracted 4, right? Well, how friendly when you do it this way. that's just times 2. So that's an 8% decrease. And this would be 92% of the original. If you multiply that by 0.92, you get this. So, anyways, I think that's kind of a friendly way of doing it. Now for the second skill set. These are still, you can get squirrelier. Here, number 3 would be squirrelier. 1, 2, and 4 are kind of the same stuff. Number 1, you're starting with 25, and this summer he wants to do 40 bucks a week. So his change is going to be an increase of $15. So you put 100% here. That's times 4. So times 4 is 60%. He'd be making 160% of his original, but it went up 60% is your increase. There's your percent change. Number 2, you're starting with $400 and reduced to 340. So your change is a decrease. So you're subtracting 60 bucks, right? So put your 100% here. How do you get from 400 to 100? Well, you divide by 4. Divide by 4 is like dividing by 2 twice. Half of 40, half of 60 is 30, half of 30 is 15. That's a 15% decrease. And so this would just be 85% of the original. If you multiply that by 0.85, you'd get this. Okay, number 3 is a squirrely one here. I had to kind of fix it because I messed up here. Because you got 2 tries here. So actually it's that's what tables are nice for. So it's, it's out of 50, which is kind of nice. Because when that's just going to be times 2. So the first time she got 41 out of 50, that's an 82%. If she got 49 out of 50, that would be a 98%. So the change is 8, or the difference is 8, and times 2, that's just a 16%. Since it went up, that's an increase. Kind of friendly there, isn't it? And the last one there, so this one they give you weird numbers here. He's going from 6 and he wants to get it done in 3.5 hours. So it's going to be a decrease of 2.5. So here the numbers are kind of finally tougher here. And so I already worked this out here, so I'm just going to show you over here. So I made my circle, decrease over original, and it's 2.5 over 6 is, I don't know, over 100. I crisscrossed, divide by 6, and here's my long division. You get 41 and 4/6, which is 2/3. So it's 41 and 2/3%, or it could be 41.6 repeating percent. I'll write that. 41.6 repeating percent decrease. So that's your decrease. So actually that would be a 58.3% of the original. That's what he's doing now. Anyways, so hopefully that's helpful. Make your table, obey your table. Or make your circle, obey your circle. And that's it for chapter 7. Hope that was super helpful. Love you, Eric. Bye.